I'm testing the new RICOH THETA TH-3 official hard case with the RICOH THETA X. This is a new case that is water resistant and weather resistant. It's not waterproof. There is a different case for underwater use. This case is only for when you put it out or you want to protect the camera from scratches. We're going to test the use of the case, take some pictures for industrial purposes, and have the pictures available after use. The Theta X has the USB cable on the side. This case works with the Z1 as well. So there's also another way to put the cable on from the underside of the case. This test focuses on the RICOH THETA X and tests for whether the optics or the clarity are good enough for your specific use. Obviously, there's going to be a decrease in image quality when you take it from inside the case. The USB cable, which we're testing with, can be plugged into the camera from the side. The most common scenario would probably be with a mobile app, although you could trigger with the USB API as well. The camera does not touch the sides of the case, although the tolerances are pretty close. The most common scenario is you're probably going to place this thing on a monopod and either walk around with it or place it stationary. Let's try a stationary shot first. I haven't really tuned the camera for taking it inside of the case, but the output looks reasonably good. There's obviously a loss of quality compared to not inside the case, but this picture would be completely usable for industrial use or inspection. I also think I have the EV compensation pumped up a bit. You can likely get better colors by modifying the settings. I just took it without any prep for this particular shot. Another type of shot is to take the picture of the interior of a car, and you normally place it on the center console here, but just to be candid, I had some issues with the glare because there's light coming in through the windshield. If you have the car like in a garage or more controlled lighting, you can just basically, if you place it outside of the direct sunlight, it'll be better. So light can be coming into the car. This is the image from the camera in 360. But if it's hitting the case directly, you will get a glare. So with the camera in the case, the picture could be quite reasonable. It's probably better to take it out of the case, but maybe in some workflows, especially if it's used cars and it's in a lot and you're trying to part out the vehicle, you might want to put it in a case. And so we're just doing some tests to see, is it feasible to put in a case? You probably would need a garage. So I next placed the camera under the mid-body portion of the car to check out the catalytic converter. Again, there's some light coming in from the side of the vehicle, but because it's under the car, the glare is not much of a problem here. And you can get a pretty good view of how the underside of the car is for inspection purposes. You can even check out the tread on the used tire or the spare tire. As I was inspecting the pictures, I noticed some very small scratches on the inside of the case, so it was kind of a bit fragile. You may not even be able to see the scratches in this video, but from simply putting the camera inside the case, the inside of the case got scratched a little. I wanted to include this part in the video because it might actually save some other people from buying the case and they just jam the camera on the case and it's not perfectly aligned. They might also scratch the inside of the case. It doesn't really affect the picture quality that much, but might also give you a heads up that the plastic did appear to be relatively soft and fairly easily scratched. And because it's a case that you're going to want to use in circumstances that might damage the camera, thought I would give you a heads up that it does appear to be fairly easily scratched both inside, so when you're putting it over the top of the camera, as well as on the outside. I did have this in my garage. It's probably not the best thing to use, but it was just on my workbench. So I did take a paper towel and I did polish off the scratches. I think if you used more professional polishing compound, you could get better results, but this was okay. So this actually introduces another problem, is that I used a facial tissue, unfortunately, not a microfiber cloth, to dry the inside of the, or I mean, to polish the inside of the case, right? And so the facial tissue had these small pieces of dust that it left on the inside of the case. Obviously, I could have washed it out with water or some type of cleanser prior to taking the shot, but I just didn't know that. I guess I wasn't aware that the small dust particles were on the inside of the case. So when I took the shot, the small dust particles, because light's creeping in from the inside of the car, it was highlighted more in the video than I would have expected. So I think the solution here would have just simply been to rinse out the inside of the case. This dust is on the inside, right? Because I cleaned it. With some type of cleanser, maybe even water would have been okay. So the case looks quite good. The quality is good. It does appear to be a little fragile with the scratches, so just be careful of that. And you have to really look at the dust. So we'll be doing more tests in the future. Thanks for joining us for this initial review of the TH3 official hard case from RICOH. The media is freely available. That all the images used in the test, you can just get and download and inspect yourself. We are asking you to just put your email into this site. We're not trying to sell anything. The reason is that we just need to report back to our sponsor, RICOH, on if people find the content that we are producing of value. So that would help us out, and we're not going to really bombard you. It's just to report back to our sponsor. Thanks a lot.